Hello, you're welcome back to CodeTops. Today we're going to do a new tutorial on how we can deploy Flask website to Heroku. So I'm going to demonstrate and show you how you can deploy your website for free on the Heroku platform. So we're going to discuss what the Heroku platform is. But before we go into that, please, if you're a new user that is just coming to this channel, I would like you to click on the subscribe button and try as much as possible to click on the notification bell to be aware whenever we upload a new video to the platform. So now, what exactly is the Heroku? Heroku is a cloud platform as a service supporting several programming languages, and it's also a platform as a service that deploys apps onto the cloud. So what we're trying to say is, if you have a website or you have an application whereby you need it to reside on the cloud, so you can use the Heroku platform to deploy your apps or your website to the cloud. And when you're using this, it's definitely free. That's one of the perks of Heroku platform. The platform also supports different kinds of programming languages. So the ones here are just like a few mentioned. So we have other programming languages that's supported. Whenever you want to use this platform, know the programming language you're working with. So before you deploy your apps, and try as much as possible to check their documentation before you get started. You can also get started for free with Heroku, whereby you have free trial of 550 to 1000 Dinos hours per month. That's great. So let's move right into our video to demonstrate how you can download the Heroku if you're using a Windows platform. So I'm going to demonstrate that to you, and then we try to develop our Flask application before we now deploy our website to Heroku. We're going to move to our browser and we type in Heroku. Then we click on the first thing that will find here. So now you can see this particular page is where you download for Mac OS, for Windows, for Ubuntu. So if you're using a 64-bit installer or 32-bit for Windows, you either pick either of the two. So you download for your Windows version. So but for now I have it installed already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the Visual Studio Code. So we work with the Flask then before we move down to the Heroku itself. So while we are here, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an virtual environment. Let's create a virtual environment. So after our virtual environment has been created, so next thing we're going to do is we'll activate this virtual environment that we create. Okay, so after we activated this, we're going to create we're going to install our libraries. So the first library we're going to install is the Flask library. So we do pip install. So after our library has been installed, which is the Flask library, so let's create a new file, which is app.py for our project. Now we're going to create a basic app, which is going to render a template. So I already imported a template, which I'm going to be making use of here. So this is the template I have here, which is my index.html. So I will go back to that, but first let's create let's import all our libraries and write our code. So what we do is let's import Flask. From Flask, import Flask, and let's import render template also. All right, yeah, so we define our hub, and we use hub.route, define our endpoints. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create a function under this endpoint. So we're going to create a function and name it as home. So for this home endpoint, what it's going to do is it's going to render that index template that we have over there. So we need to use the render template that we imported. So we're going to say return render templates, which is index.html. Okay. So after we are done with that, we're going to do an app.run. So we do if name is equal to main, then we do a app.run. So we ensure we put the debug is equal to true inside this. Okay. So now we already created a basic app, which is going to be an example on how we can deploy our website to Heroku. So we already created a basic implementation of what our application will look like. So that's what we have here. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create a new file that we refer to as profile. So this new file is called profile. So this profile is actually what is actually communicating with the Heroku. So under this profile, we're going to define our application, that is the app name and the instance. So just to make Heroku recognize the app that it wants to run whenever we deploy our application. So we're going to write web unicorn. Okay, so we've defined our application and the app instance. So now the next thing we still need to do is we still need to install one more, the Unicorn library. The Unicorn library is also used with the Heroku. So we need to install that. Alright, so after we've installed this, we need to freeze our requirements the test. Okay, so this is our requirement.txt. So we have the requirement.txt, we have the profile, then we have our application. So what is next now is we need to use our GitHub with this particular code, because without the GitHub, you need to connect to the GitHub to your Heroku. So we're going to do a Git initialization. Then after we've initialized, we can then commit our code. Then we can then create a application. Let's do a Git init. Yes, so we have a Git init. So let's also create a Git ignore for some folders that we have that we aren't using. So I'm going to be using my virtual environment folder. I'm going to define it inside the Git ignore. So which other folder I should define? I think it's PyCatch. I was doing here. PyCatch folder. So I don't want all these things to be uploaded when I'm deploying my application. So what we need to do next is, after we've done all this, we can then start adding our code, then we commit, then Heroku. But let's have it at the back of our mind that we haven't created our application at all on Heroku. That is, we haven't created the name of our website. So we are going to move down to Heroku now. Heroku dashboard. So I have my dashboard open here already. So what I'm going to do is I'll click on the new tab, then I'll create new app. So I'm going to define a name of my app. So let me do 2UTX1. Let me check if it has not been okay. The name is available. So I'm going to click on create app. So now we have this name created for us. So what you need to do is, I told you you need to download the Heroku, that you need to download it on your Windows, or maybe you're using Mac or Ubuntu. Since we have it download, so So you're going to do a login initialization after you've downloaded it. You can see the steps that we need to follow. So we have each of these steps here. So we call it Heroku CLI. That is, you're going to log in, then you do the Git initialization and all. So just look at what we have here. We're going to follow each and every of these steps to commit our code before we push to Heroku master and follow every necessary steps. So now I'm going to click Heroku login. So press any key. Just follow the steps that you have on your CLI. Click on login. So you've been logged in automatically. So you can see like it has recognized my email and password. So you've connected your application already. So what you need to do is you're going to add using the Git add. So let's add all our codes that we have here. So you're going to commit the code. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do git push Heroku master. So this master is usually used in Heroku if you're using the master branch or the main branch. So now I'm going to check my application that has been deployed to Heroku. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the control key. I'm going to hold down the control key, then I click on this link. So now you can see my static website that has been deployed to Heroku. So this is the what? This is the link this is my URL link that can be used with any web browser. That is, I can check at any, I can use my phone, I can use any platform to check. So this is available on the cloud, whereby I have my website deployed to the cloud. So if you have an application, you have a website that you like to work with like this, so you can use the Heroku platform to deploy your app on the browser. Just ensure you do all necessary things. And if you have any possibly you run into any error, you try to look through their documentation. You see something about how you can debug any kind of error you have, so you can follow each of the steps inside the documentation so you can resolve your error. So this is the end of this tutorial. I would like you to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you next time.